What's up, guys? Welcome into the PTA postgame show. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Emilio in Tennessee here to talk about this Packers dub. They're currently leading 20-7 as we're kneeling on the ball after Aaron Mosby recovers a fumble. So it looks like the Packers are going to get out of here with their final preseason game and a win 20-7 over the Seattle Seahawks. Man, this was a fun one to watch. This honestly did not feel like a preseason game. You've seen a lot of the Packers starters out there. Obviously, the Seahawks did not play Sam Darnold, but they did let Jalen Milroe play the entire game. He had some ups and downs, mostly downs, I feel like. But feels like this team really showed up to play in the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, we got a lot to talk about. We had a little Matthew Golden sighting early. We'll get into that, which was a lot of fun. As he showed up big time, Emilio. Listen, he played, very few snaps, but another contested catch, great concentration on that grab. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, what's your overall takeaway from the ball game here as the Packers get a victory?
Yeah, I think you were spot on with that. It didn't really feel like a preseason game. Crowd was in it, man. They were loud. You could hear it on the TV. Everybody was excited to be there. Offense started kind of humming there for a second. 96-yard drive. You love to see that. Malik Willis took him all the way down. Golden making a good grab, and just I'm happy how it all kind of came together. Dobbs with some strong hands on that touchdown catch. I mean, he just palmed it one-handed, just using it to push himself up out of there. Yeah, man, that was nice. That was a nice little drive there. And then, just kind of the rest of the game sort of fell into place after that. Defense was all over the ball, making, forcing turnovers, and, just real good effort all around.
Yeah, it started off a little bit rocky. I know I see everybody following in. Appreciate y'all making us part of your evening here. Listen, if this is your first time tuning in, welcome into PTA. This is our post-game show. We do these every single week that the Packers have a game, obviously. We do pre-game shows as well. So if you're looking for that type of content, as well as, just live Packers daily content, make sure you click that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you're notified every time we go live. And all the regulars, you know what to do. Hit that like button for us, and feel free to share with a friend. It started off a little rocky for Malik Willis, had back-to-back inaccurate throws, threw an interception. Let's be honest, the ball hit the freaking ground. I don't know.
Yeah, that was brutal.
I don't understand why we have challenges and booth reviews if they're still going to get it wrong, because, I mean, this isn't just me being a homer. Like, you can either see the ball hit the ground or you can't, and we've seen the ball hit the ground, right?
I honestly think they were just like, screw it. Like, they had a nice return. Like, the Seahawks needed something to get them going. It's preseason. Let's just let them have it. But, yeah, that was brutal that was you saw the ball roll as it hit the ground. Then it was right after they were just talking. I think it was Josh Jacobs was talking a little smack to, was it Okuba, what the dude's name was? And then goes and gets a pick that hits the ground.
Yeah, as Joseph says in the chat, that was not an INT. Completely agree, man. But then, fortunately for us, Rashawn Gary, run stopper right there off the bat. Javon Bullard had a great contain on Milroe, who was trying to scramble, did a really good job in the contain there out of the slot. Then you get to Quay Walker sack. Matter of fact, I think I've got that. I should have had this stuff ready. I apologize. I got so excited.
And Bull on that when he came up to play the slot, man. I just like that they gave him a shot, as corner. But again, they're still flipping him back and forth. They think that he's that person that has that flexibility to go play safety and then come down and play in the box. And then when that happens, and with the injury to Zane, you get Oladapo out there. And I really do like his game. I'm glad that he's getting some burn now that, sucks if Zane's out, but getting a chance to see out there and kind of tearing it up for the defense.
Yeah, let's try to go in order here if we can. I don't know why this thing is just spinning, but let's see if we can get that to load up, because we had the Next Gen Stats GPS tracker for that Matthew Golden catch. Just wanted to kind of see what the play call was. So you see we got a nasty split here for the most part across the board. You got Romeo's. This is our 12 personnel, right? So we're in ace dubs. So it's 12 ace, right? 12 ace dubs. And we've got a very, very tight set. You'll see Matthew Golden runs a go route. You've got Romeo Dobbs is kind of running. It almost looks like an out and up, but it's a 9-fade. And then you've got Luke Musgrave stretching the seam. And it looked to me like they were trying to run what we call a strike concept. Let me explain what that is here real quick. Strike is when on one side of the field you run a crosser, On the other side, you run a go. So you're running a go, much like a dagger, similar concept, but you've got a go in the 2, a dig in the 1, right? The strike concept is one side of the formation, you've got a go. The other side, you've got a dig or a crosser, okay? So that's very generally known as the strike concept. So with that being said, it looked to me like Tucker Kraft was going to run. Let me get this right here. Yeah, Tucker Kraft was going to run kind of a crosser underneath, but the ball's already thrown, so then he trips off to go towards the ball, obviously, as he's seen it's thrown. But Matthew Golden, just a non-fade. 28 was respecting the speed, too.
Yeah.
And that's what you're seeing, where it was just like, you know what? One-on-one coverage, let's give our guy a shot, and lo and behold, he brings it down. I wish we could show you the actual play. You guys know why it'll trigger a copyright from the broadcast. But really, really cool play there as Malik Willis taking a shot to Matthew Golden. Let's hit the super chat, and then I want to get your take on Matthew Golden. Is there anything else you want to add to him? But Chris Casual in with the super chat. He says LVN is the next NFL Pro Bowler and WWE star known as, is it the Flaccid Hammer? Is that correct there?
Yeah.
Emilio, a.k.a. Jelly Hammer. I didn't pay much attention to LVN, to be honest with you. Did you see much with him today?
Not really. I was kind of everywhere else, but yeah, I'm hoping that he had a good game. We'll have to go back and watch it again. Obviously, we didn't get eyes on everyone, but I mean, we've been waiting for LVN to start. I was paying attention to some of the ends a little bit later on, but it was just like the fact that, you know, we can have him going from standing up to hand in the dirt, a little bit of 3-4, 4-3 look, that versatility. But no, yeah, Covington's been doing wonders down there, but I did not see too much of LVN.
Gotcha. It looked like he may have only had 5 snaps according to Eldegrim, which is a good sign when they're like, that's enough for LVN. That tells you everything they think they've seen in him. Right. During.
But on that Matthew Golden one there, Clay, the corner gave him 8-10 yards off the start, and then had leverage, had over the top leverage on him from the beginning. And Matthew Golden just made a great adjustment around the dude's back, brought it in, and yeah, you saw that coach, that Seahawks coach thought he had a pick right there.
Yeah, I wish we could show it, and we'll show it on Chalk Talk this week for sure, because it was a hell of a catch. And that's just one of those examples where they're playing off. You're running right into the strength of that coverage, essentially. The 28's got eyes on the quarterback for the most part. He knows, all right, this is a go route. I'm just going to play the ball. And somehow Matthew Golden adjusts, cuts back inside, brings it down, essentially one-handed, has the wherewithal, the body control, which we talked about was all over the college tape, to protect the ball from touching the ground. So really, really cool.
And look at Rome on this one too. I mean, Rome breaks free, man. Before the ball's even thrown, Rome had 2 steps on the guy. That's
a great point, man. If for some reason you see that, honestly, Malik Willis will probably get a -2 on this from Matt LaFleur if their grading system is like the old school grading system, because he's going to see, hey, Malik, you can't just throw that ball up there like that. Like 28 playing off. The play design should go look to the right, come back left, up. Romeo's running butt naked, and you're going to go deep shot left. I'm glad he threw it.
Yeah, no, I'm glad he did too. The only other thing was Telfer there, 67, getting kind of pushed back right into his face. So I'm glad that he was able to get it off, you know, with enough force to get it up there. But yeah, no, it's just crazy how we had both dudes open there.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. So there was the Matthew Golden play. Now I'm going to see if I can get the sack. I wanted to show you guys the sack real quick as well on a GPS tracker from Next Gen Stats, because it was cool, man. You could tell this is what happens when you don't go vanilla, right? In the preseason, we've kind of talked about it. This is the Quay Walker sack. So notice when you look at the front, they've got Quay Walker mugging, right? So he is mugging what we would basically call, I mean, he's basically running a 4-tech here, right? He's lined up directly over the tackle. Okay, and then you've got Clay Matthews. Lord have mercy, that's a blast from the past. Rashawn Gary, wide 9 out there, right? Now notice how you've got 96 and 94 on the same side of the field. So that's obviously Colby Wooden and Carl Brooks. So you've got them kind of shaded over, essentially what you would call this
load mug, Clay, is what I run this out of all the time in college football. All the time. You got your two backers, you got Coop, and then you got Quay. Quay's walked up, but Quay's can always drop, right? So you're at least having the O-line have to account for him while overpowering, overloading that one side with 3 defensive linemen against 3 O-linemen.
So you got a strong look here. Notice how the defensive tackles are loaded onto the strong side with 49 being your tight end, right? So you've got essentially what you're forcing is a single cut. If you're going single block, just a 5-man protection, which they probably kept some in to help. 79's got to kick out and take LV in, right? 63 has got to block Carl Brooks, 94. The center's got to block Kobe Wooden, and that's going to single up our boy Quay Walker with the right guard, and of course Rashawn Gary with the right tackle. Here's what happens though, Emilio. This looks like, okay, you're mugging. It's probably a fire zone blitz. What it really is cover one man. So what they're disguising is if 49 goes out in a route, 27's got him. Okay, so that's Oladapo, right? Am I thinking right? Yeah, so Oladapo's in man coverage. Everybody's man coverage across the board. And what's going to happen here, gang, is 90, 94, 96 are all going to slant inside. So they're going to take all of the protection in with them. They're just going to try to crash the line down, okay? And then our boy Quay Walker is essentially mugging, but what's going to happen is 56 is going to scrape down, and then Quay's actually going to kick out and scrape over. So essentially you've got the 3 down linemen, right? You've got LVN 94, 96. They're all going to crash in. 56 going to scrape off their hip pocket to take the outside rush. And then Quay is going to jab step, loop all the way around. So when Milroe snaps the ball, he sees everybody crash. He's got nothing but green out here, right? Let's scramble left. Watch when we roll the tape. Ball snapped, everybody crashes in. You see 56 come in. So he's going to slant and bang, look who's there. Right? So watch Quay on this little jab. We're hooking around. We're scraping. Bang. Beautiful.
And it being cover 1, that would probably put the running back 31 as Quay's man. So when he stayed in, we had a green dog right there. But you look at 77 the whole time. He didn't even touch Quay. He's backpedaling. Quay didn't even engage the dude, just loops around. And when he realized that his back didn't go out on a flare or anything, hey, I'm coming.
Yep. And that's what you call a +1 hat count. Right, you gain +1. 77's expecting. 77 didn't do anything wrong either. It's his job to block Quay. That's how the protection's set up. Quay you mug, you take him out of the play, and then you scrape off of that. And a great eye there, Emilio. That is a green dog blitz. If 31 goes out in the pass, that's just cover one man with the 56 fires. Essentially, right?
Yep, absolutely. And I just love that. We said it earlier, but Bullard got to come down. Oladapo's out there with Evan Williams without X, right? So you have next in line as safety right there. And then just look how tight the coverage is all the way around until the very end when Key sort of drifts off. But everybody's in their hip pockets. Bull's on 19, Carrington's on 1, and Keyshawn is in the face 83. You got Oladapo come down, pick up the tight end. Then you really leave him with nothing.
Right. So if you were to try to call this the specific play here, you would call it nickel 4-2-5 over will mug, right? You get your will is mugging, your mock is 56 and Edgerrin Cooper, right? So you're going nickel 4-2-5 over will mug, mock scrape, cover one man is what it is. And you can, like I said, if you want to call out the will green dog, you can. Here's the thing about that though. If 31 motions over to the left, I guarantee you that changes. Now 56 becomes the green dog, and Quay would be the fire, the scrape probably.
And if you're calling it college football, probably load mug, cover 1, scrape, or something along, cover 1 linebacker, scrape, something along those lines. But I like how he's kind of, moving the things around, giving them different looks. We always like that wide look. I'm glad he's bringing in the overload look, and we just have speed up front to do it now.
Yeah, exactly. Love it, man. Great play call. And again, this is the difference in the last 2 games we played. You're actually seeing them dial up a little creativity.
Eric Sullivan in the chat. Quay didn't stop to think. He just reacted and went out, and it went outstanding.
Are we turning the corner, Emilio, with Quay?
I've been saying people have been cutting on him a little too much. Kind of.
I think
let the man grow a little bit.
I think he's been listening just a touch. So There you go. Going back to the notes here, and we'll keep an eye. Let me know if we get any super chats, man. I don't want to miss any. So obviously you had the Matthew Golden 39-yard contested catch. We talked about the Quay Walker sack. We have Willis to Malik Heath on a 3rd and 6 for a first down. I thought Malik Heath, both in the passing game, or receiving, I should say, and in special teams, really helped himself today, Emilio. How do you feel about that? Again, if it comes back to the original question, Malik Heath or McCole Hardman, who are you keeping? Has anything changed?
It's got to be Heath, man. I think I was kind of there earlier, and seeing him today, I even said it, if they ask him to go be a gunner or a flyer, man, there he is. And he was down there twice, cleaned up a tackle once, got down there first one time, didn't make the tackle, got back to it, and still ended up making the tackle, 5 yards after. And you saw him coming off the field too. He's just pinching it, just missed the guy. Like, I almost had him on that first drop. Yeah, man, and just credit to Daniel Whelan. I forgot who said it. Somebody in the chat was saying that, all right, it was Eric Sullivan, of course it was. Whelan should have to register his leg as a deadly weapon, because that man can he has got every bag, every tool in the bag with his leg.
And I wish I could show this play here at Kalen King. Well, first of all, Malik Willis throws a touchdown pass, nice little slant, good pitch and catch to Romeo Dobbs. Romeo looked good. I mean, we showed on the GPS tracking, he was running butt naked up the sideline, right?
Yeah.
And then he
strong hands on that slant, really strong hands. Yeah. He almost had that fade route, needs to get a little bit more height on it from Malik, but no worries.
Yeah. So to me, Kalen King had an excellent day. I don't know how you guys feel. Let us know in the chat what you think about Kalen King's day. But so he had a short pass stop. So they threw underneath, done a great job being aggressive, getting under, stopping that from getting any yards. It might have gotten 1 yard maybe. Brenton Cox Jr. had a sack along with Enigbare. Great play there. Of course, McManus, 48-yard field goal. This is the play that got me excited, though. Kalen King fumble recovery, guys. I put a tweet out, and I wish I could show it, but I can't. I just said Kalen King's a damn dog, one of the smallest guys on the field. Didn't think twice about diving underneath a 1,500-pound pile of guys to recover the fumble. And that ball gets knocked out by the way, Tyron Hopper. Expecting him to have another excellent PFF grade. I would be very, very surprised if it's not a 70 or higher. But that ball pops out. Kalen King doesn't think twice. He goes submarining underneath the pile to get the fumble recovery. Guys, that's what we've been missing at the cornerback position. So think about this. We're being more physical now, right? You go out, you get Nate Hobbs, who obviously is going to be a very physical corner. You got Kalen King as your backup slot corner. Really excited about that, man. I don't know how you felt about Kalen King's day, but I really, really do think he had a great day. Anything you got to add to Kalen King before we
Kalen King had an amazing day, let alone that play, but the other one where he kind of knifed through underneath MVS, around the tight end, around the tackle, dove and kind of clipped Milrow. The dude's not afraid to stick his neck in there and really, come down and play some football. And I love to see that, especially out of a rookie a first year, but really getting his first kind of reps out there on the field. And I'm just glad that he's doing it. I'm glad that he's not scared. He's not worried, and he's got that energy, and he's in the backfield a lot for a cornerback.
Oh, no doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. Clint, the armchair quarterback with the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. Team looked good today. Bring on the lines. That's a very, very generous super chat there, Clint. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Clint. Absolutely.
I agree too, man. Bring them on. Get a little bit healthier. Bring on the lines. You know what I mean? I'm excited to take the next couple of weeks to get these guys a little bit healthier for sure. So, thank you so much, Clint. Completely agree. Emilio, can you get me a screenshot ready? We got Matt LaFleur at the podium. I'm going to hit this super chat, and then we'll have that screenshot ready. Badger Trio, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. He says, Lloyd start on PUP. Talented, need to stay healthy. Yeah, I'm hoping he doesn't go like on an extended IR. You know what I mean? That's what I'm a little concerned about. Emilio, do you think there's a chance that Marshawn Lloyd ends up going on IR and misses, say, more than 3 or 4 weeks?
I do. I think, not anything against him. I just think that time-wise and who we need on the roster at the moment, they would kind of rather play, hey, man, if you're still being banged up and having some issues, let's put you on there for 4 weeks. Let's get that squared away. Make sure you're 100%. And in the meantime, we can get a couple of these guys through cut downs that we kind of need to, that we're a little worried about. We'll go ahead and just slide you over. And then because He can come right back after the 4 weeks, right? Can he come back on that 5th week if they designate him the week of?
The way it works for me is you've got to go on IR for at least 4 weeks, and then you got to decide whenever I think it's by the 5th week, they have to come off IR and you open up a practice window, I believe, or maybe they're still on IR, but you've got to open up that practice window. There's so many weeks that you've got now that they have to practice and see if you can bring them back. So that's essentially how it works.
So so you would be out. You'd be out. I mean, you'd be out through the bye week from him.
Which that doesn't bother me because damn, Emanuel Wilson looks so good, dude. He is such a solid running back. We'll get to him here in a minute, but thank you for that super chat, Trio. We appreciate you, buddy. All right, give me that screen grab ready, Emilio. Let's see what Coach LaFleur has to say here at the podium. Here we go. And again, I've got it all the way up, guys. Hopefully you can hear it. If not, I'll try to adjust it for the podcast, but just turn the volume up here.
Challenge, but I was proud of those guys, just suiting up and going to play ball.
What'd you think of Willis? He did a lot more with his legs than he's been doing in practice.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think practice is always a tough thing to judge, when it's not live and you're not going to the ground. And certainly that's one of his superpowers is his ability to get out of the pocket and create off schedule or scramble and create big plays. And he was able to extend that second drive a few times with picking up first downs with his legs.
Glad to see the emphasis on forced fumbles from this whole camp.
Yeah, that was exciting because it finally happened. So, there was a couple other opportunities I didn't think we took advantage of, but that is always at the forefront of our guys' mind, and it's drilled into their head, I would say, every day, and we drill it every day out on the practice field. So, for those guys to make it come to fruition is exciting to see.
Going back to Malik, when you look at what he did for you last year in the season and then what he did in the offseason and training camp, how good do you feel, even if you don't want to see him again now until the end of the year?
Yeah, we got a lot of confidence in Malik. I think he is just scratching the surface of what he can become. Just the dual threat that he is as a quarterback. I think it's problematic for most defenses. And I think he's really come a long way in terms of the fundamentals of the position and just making good decisions.
Did you alternate the other two to get them equal playing time, or was there some other thinking there?
Yeah, I think I just, we gave Sean game one. He was the first guy in. Taylor was in game two, and just kind of thought that, number one, it keeps them both in it for the entire game. So I thought that was important. I thought those guys did a good job.
What would you think of Algersman and those improvised plays?
Yeah, those were, I mean, shoot, you got to find a way. And there was two of those that he did. So I thought, you got to go back and look at it. But I thought, for the most part, he did a pretty good job.
As far as those decisions coming up, when you look at the totality of a roster, do you prefer to have certain numbers at certain positions, or is it just whoever the best 53 are?
No, I think you always got to take into account the numbers at the positions.
Matt, you said there's decisions to be made. How many of those make themselves, and how much of it is that you guys actually have to sit down and decide now, or were they already kind of shaken itself?
Yeah, I mean, I've spent a lot of time with Goody, and for the most part, you got a pretty good idea of where it's going. But certainly, there's going to be other teams where guys get released, and there's going to be opportunities there that potentially could impact some of the decisions that you make in terms of who you keep from your roster.
What's your plan?
All right, there you go. There was Coach Matt LaFleur at the podium. We'll go ahead and get back to the chat. I see everybody filing in. As Terry Patton says, "Go Pack, go!" Appreciate you swinging through, Terry. We got a super chat here, and we'll get to some of the other comments. Thank you so much, Godsmack AR69. All right, I've seen enough. Give me Air Canada over the little red puppy, the gamer, for the practice squad, honestly. Sorry, Tim, but what the hell does Clifford have to offer at this point? I'll tell you what I think Clifford has to offer. He knows the system way, way, way better than Taylor Elgersma. Now, put it this way. Let's say that Malik Willis gets hurt in practice, all right? And you've got Taylor Elgersma and you've got Sean Clifford, right? Which one would you want to go into the game if obviously they say that the backup quarterbacks, Emilio, they get like, I'm talking about less than 10 snaps in practice the week of the game. That's how few it is. It's crazy how little prepared they are. They got to do all their work, obviously, after practice and try to get some extra thrown in and stuff. But if it were to come down to a game, and let's say you're up by 7 points, Jordan Love turns an ankle, leaves the game, who would you rather have in there to try to manage the game, run the offense, and win the ball game? You guys know I'm keeping Taylor Elgersma. How do you? Is that how they were saying it?
They said it both ways. They said it both ways.
Flush it, man. All right. I would much rather have Elgersma on the practice squad over Sean Clifford. However, if you're asking me right now, hey man, you got a quarter to go out there and protect a 1-score lead, I'm probably picking Sean Clifford over Elgersma. That's based off the tape I've seen, because Elgersma will let that thing rip into coverage. Matt LaFleur has talked about it over and over and over. So if we're talking right now, practice squad guy, more upside, hands down, Elgersma has way more upside than Clifford. The problem I'm having is if in a tight game he has to come in and kind of run the offense, I don't know, man. I would feel more comfortable about our boy Sean Clifford knowing all the checks, knowing the entire offense like the back of his hand. And he's also got that mobility too, not that Elgersma doesn't, but to be able to run that zone read a little bit as well. So if I had to choose right now, I agree with you guys, Smack. I'm going Eric Canada. But I understand anyone who's like, in a tight pinch, if for some reason Malik Willis was banged up and you had to activate one of those two quarterbacks as your backup quarterback, I'm probably still leaning towards Sean Clifford just for that game management aspect and just try to get you through a rough patch. Let's be honest. If we're down to one of those two quarterbacks being the starter, though, we're screwed either way, right?
Right. No, yeah, I think you're right. If I'm picking that third guy to dress, it would be Clifford, but for talent-wise, I mean, he does. Elgersma has an arm, dude. To think about it, with Canada football, there's one extra guy, 12 players, and then the field's wider. So for him to throw an out route on a wider field from the opposite hash, you got to have a cannon and good timing to do that, which we saw that he does, and he can play outside. Outside the scheme of the offense, there, like Matt was talking about. Sometimes you just got to get it done, couple shovel passes, and bing, bam, boom. But, to get those off is you're kind of getting yourself into a pickle or something didn't go right on the play to be shoveling it to the back who was just blocking for you. So little bit of both there, but I'm really just kind of happy with the team overall there and how they were sort of playing.
Yeah. And thank you again for the super chat, Godsmack. We appreciate you, buddy. Real quick, looking at the PFF grades early, these, can still be adjusted. Passing grades, Sean Clifford actually led with a 55.1 passing grade, Elgersma with a 45.8, and Malik with a 41.2. Wow. So and that's the early PFF grades,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's the early ones.
Got it. So back to the notes here. Emanuel Wilson, 8-yard run on first down to set up just to stay ahead of schedule.
Okay, is that the one where he put the dude, like he put the stops on the dudes? It's either the way he runs with his, it's either kind of how his helmet sits on his body or the way he kind of leans his weight forward. When he put the stops on and that 37, I mean, the corner just locked up his ankles, but I don't know how he stopped and turned up immediately.
It looks like he's running in quicksand, Emilio.
It was a video game. It looked like I hit the right trigger right as I stopped. You hit the right trigger and get that speed burst glitch. Dude, I'm telling you, I don't know how he did it.
He never looks like, man, he's flying, but you just see him blowing by people. It's like, it looks so effortless, the way he can cut. And again, I go back to Gary Ellerson, that very first preseason that he was with us, that Emanuel Wilson was with us, and he bounced that run outside against Cincy. And afterwards in the postgame show, Ellerson was like, that's not normal what that kid just did. Like that, not everybody in the league can do that. And he just continues to do it. It looks so effortless, man. I completely agree. So 8-yard run, backed it up with a 5-yard run. McCole Hardman on the jet sweep for 14 yards. Kind of feel like he helped himself today too, Emilio. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes the roster with Malik Heath. However, I would go Malik Heath over him unless I'm 99.9% confident that Malik Heath can make it to the practice squad. I don't think Hardman will make it to the practice squad. That's the only reason why I would lean toward Hardman over Heath. But He did everything. It kind of sounds like Christian Welch last year. He did everything he needed to do to make this roster. He deserved the roster. I believe that.
But also, I mean, Heath was out there. I think he was the first other wide receiver to come in on their offensive snaps. And I remember they kind of stacked him over the tight end, like how we used to do with Christian Watson. Go ahead and dig out that back, or get your head in there on a run. So I think I am still going to lean Heath, though I do appreciate everything Hardman's done this offseason, and reaching out to everybody, setting the tone, being a veteran leader out there.
Yeah, and shout out to our buddy Caden over on X at CADENSUNILA. Everybody go give him a follow. He had great seats today. And this is the Elgersma touchdown pass to Will Shepherd. It looked like they ran a crossers mesh. Some people just call it crossers. Other people call it mid mesh. But they had two crossers, right, going through the back or through the middle of the end zone. And the idea is to get those guys to rub. And whichever one comes free, that's where you throw the football. Just make sure it's not a too high look where you're throwing into a safety either way. But beautiful touchdown pass from Elgersma to Will Shepherd here on the crosser mesh. And we've got the actual video from Caden's seats. Check this out. We'll let the crowd stay up here too.
Try to copyright this, NFL. No, they're going to. No problem.
And listen how quiet it is too. Great job, Packer fans. Don't get too loud when we're down there trying to play. Yeah. Save it for this.
I love it.
What a great shot there, man, too, by Caden, obviously. So good touch there from Elgersma. Read it out right. Sees there's no safety on that side of the field.
Mm-hmm.
Good touch. Leads this guy out there, keeps him out of harm's way. And then obviously the Lambeau leap, man. Was Lambeau not beautiful? Every time that sun would pop out today, you get that shadow creeping across.
It was gorgeous. The drone footage where you kind of saw like the whole stadium, but through one entrance. And then even at the end there, when they were taking the knees and they were up above looking at the flag flapping around, but overlooking the game. I mean, you can't beat it. Clay, let me ask you this. Ryback here in the chat says, I would keep Shepherd over Hardman.
I tell you, I can't think of one negative mark I've had on Shepherd all camp. However, think of it this way. Much like I was talking about Sean Clifford and making the case for him over Elgersma, as you guys know, again, I would take Elgersma over Clifford, but I can understand the argument the other way. Imagine you got a game on the line, right? And it's fourth quarter, final drive. Romeo's banged up. He's out of the lineup. Whatever. It's, let's say you're in a 12 personnel and you've got, or let's call it 11 personnel. And you've got, Christian Watson might be on the sideline, or maybe he's on the field. Jaden Reed's on the sideline. You got Matthew Golden out there, and you've got Hardman on the field, right? Either Hardman or Shepherd. Hardman has Super Bowl experience, right? And this is what I keep coming back to. And maybe this is a reason why we shouldn't keep him, Emilio, if that one reason is the only reason we would keep him, But we've seen the 14-yard jet sweep, right? That looked great. He's had a great camp, albeit the last couple of weeks he struggled a little bit. We've seen him in the Super Bowl catch the game-winning touchdown catch, right? So put all that together, and now what is Shepherd's? What's his resume? He's a freak, right? He's got crazy height, if I remember correctly. He's one of those guys got a high RAS, and he could be a dog until someone gives him an opportunity. Who knows, right? That's definitely something to take into consideration. But I truly think you could get Shepherd on the practice squad.
Yeah.
So why not keep them both in that array? That makes sense.
No, absolutely. And it's nothing against Shepherd. I think he can handle it. He's been out there in the big lights, but I think you're right. You can kind of sneak him onto the practice squad a little bit easier than somebody that's had, some success in the NFL. So you really need to make the decision is, because we keep falling back to it. Hardman can return kicks, but I feel like, is that the only thing we're leaning on him for? Can't we find somebody else to do that? Can a running back do that? Can somebody else do it? Is that spot going to be enough to hold him there when you have three other multi-tools that you could use in that spot as well?
Yeah. And again, I kind of feel like there's a better chance that Malik Heath makes it on the practice squad than McCole Hardman. And I think there's an even better chance that Will Shepherd makes it on the practice squad as opposed to Hardman. So I'd be cool with them keeping both those guys. But again, you got Cornelius Johnson. You got these other guys that have played pretty darn well as well. So I know this. Will Shepherd put something good on tape today, so there may be another team come call him. Just keep in mind he's got to make their 53 if they sign him. So now you got to think of a young guy, undrafted, having to come into a new place, move across the country, learn a new offense. How quickly can you get him up to speed? Because I kind of feel like the Packers are probably struggling a little bit to get him up to speed as quick as they want to as well. Nothing against him. Anybody that comes in on short notice like that, obviously, it's going to take a little time to learn the system. H.E. Soda with the super chat says, feel better about this team than I did coming out of the Jets game. Know this is a low bar, but they did get better over the course of the preseason. Completely agree, Soda. And what we seen today was they opened up the playbook a little bit, right? It's almost like, Emilio, it's almost like Matt LaFleur was like, okay, we're still sputtering a little bit, even though we had a better game last week against the Colts. Let's open a little bit more up and create a little momentum, a little bit of confidence as we go into the season. I do think that's a real thing, don't you?
Yeah. And didn't Matt say that in one of his pressers, or somebody interviewed him and asked, are you worried about, or he said he's not as worried about letting some of the stuff out of his playbook early in the preseason. He was saying something along those lines, I'm not as worried about putting film out there for other teams, or, not releasing too much for week one and all that. Because sometimes you just got to let them play. They've put in these plays in, the preseason and all the work that they've done, but we're only going to stick with, run right, run left, and, a bubble screen. Like, no, we kind of need to open it up. Obviously, we fall back to Matt's jet sweeps, which not everybody, most people don't love, but it keeps the defense honest. You see, you get everybody flowing one way to the right because the running game's been working so well. Chris Brooks was running downhill, getting some tough yards. Wilson putting dudes on skates and running hard. Then you go ahead, all right, I'm going to turn around real quick, give it to Hardman and go. But again, we also probably have a wide receiver that can run that jet sweep. You could do it with just about anyone else on the roster in the wide receiver room. So that's where I'm just kind of hung up. The more it kind of is closing in, I just don't know if Hardman's going to sneak on there.
Right. Yeah, thank you so much, Soda. We appreciate the super chat.
Especially Clay, I'm sorry. Especially, I think I just thought thinking about it. Are we going to try to fit Hardman on there when we're also kind of like, dude, do we want Brinson and Stackhouse? Do we want, like, at some point we got to give up somebody, because in the end we're still getting Christian Watson back. We still have a couple of other wide receivers that are, coming back from injuries. You're running out of spots.
It's a great point. Like, if these guys aren't as healthy, like, let's say, and I'm not saying this is going to be the case. Let's just play along here, right? Christian Watson is going to start on IR. We know that. Let's say that Dontavion Wicks starts on the pup or IR or whatever because of the calf. Let's say Savion Williams, same boat, right? Well, you're down 3 guys that are in the top 5 of your depth chart. Right. So you may want to protect a couple of receivers like we just talked about, right? And have them on the 53. So it's going to be a tough cut down, man. And we got, 3 days to do it in. So obviously we'll be bringing you updates as guys are cut and any information that comes out. Typically we get to this point and all of a sudden injuries pop up, right? And someone goes on IR and that crosses them off, that type of thing. But
do you think it's easier now that we're cutting it from 90 right to 53, or did you like it better when we cut it down to like 71 halfway through and then?
I don't think I really have a preference, to be honest with you. I think the more I think about it, I think I like the new way where it's just, let's just get it all the way down, that type of thing. Because it was a little drawn out, in that regard. So that's just kind of a personal preference, I guess. Let's go to the chat here. Get caught up. Holmes MD1 earlier says Brooks looked really good as well. Talking about Chris Brooks, completely agree. He was hovering right around the 4 yards per carry mark. Again, good pass blocker, good at catching the ball out of the backfield. I think there's zero chance that he's not our number 3 running back if Marshawn Lloyd isn't healthy. You agree with that, Emilio? Did he do anything to hurt his chances of being the third best back with Marshawn Lloyd banged up?
Negative, dude. He runs hard. He runs really hard, and he's got strong legs. He can get north and south quickly. He makes a decision and goes. I mean, him and Wilson are close, a little bit different backs, but they both run the same way with physicality and wanting to get north just about as quickly as possible.
Yeah, definitely. Also in the chat here, Jen Wright says, Air Canada over the big red dog. I haven't seen anybody in here in the chat that says they would take Clifford over Elgersma. If you see him, let me know, Emilio. But it seems like everybody definitely sees Elgersma as the better quarterback for sure. United Bates says, I haven't been impressed with a Band-Aid, kinda?
A Bandicanda.
Oh, okay.
I think he was just trying to hyphenate it for you, Clay, make it nice and easy.
and I still screwed it up.
He gave you that slow pitch right over the plate.
I don't know. I think he's messing with me here. Am I high? I might be
A Band-Aid, kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe not. I don't know.
See, I'm telling you, I think it's Abanaconda.
Yeah.
I was saying Abaniconda because that's what Google said is the proper way of pronouncing that name from that region of the world. But what the hell do they know, right?
And
if Kevin Harlan says it, it might as well be coming from sweet baby Jesus's lips. You know what I'm saying, man? That dude is he not the best preseason announcer, bro? He is so good, man.
Just the voice, man. You cannot beat it. It's like, hey, that's football season.
Absolutely. Eric Sutherland in chat. Once again, it's been a tough several months. I'm forever grateful for PTA and the return of Packers football to ease the mind. God bless you all. Go Pack, go. Eric, buddy, your family here, man. We appreciate you. If there's anything we can ever do for you, you please let us know, man. You've been around since day one, no doubt. So, all right, let's go to the box score. You want to, Emilio? Take a look at it real quick.
Yeah.
All right.
Bates just to update said he was just being stupid. No pronunciation correction.
All right, there you go. Well, I'm too stupid to recognize that you were being stupid there. So we're in good company here, Bates, for sure. With the box score, let's start with the quarterbacks. We got a couple more notes I want to hit on the backside here, but let's start with the quarterbacks. Jalen Milroe, obviously, they decided to trade Geno Smith, sign Sam Darnold, and draft Jalen Milroe as a potential future quarterback, right? He went 13 to 24, 148 yards passing, 1 touchdown. He also had 7 runs for 31 yards. I thought overall they did a good job containing him and did a really good job getting pressure in his lap. 5 sacks that tallied up to 25 yards. On Green Bay's side, Malik Willis, 3 of 6 for 50 yards, a touchdown and interception that should not have been. We know that. Taylor Eldersma was 6 of 8 for 33 yards and a touchdown. All right. He was sacked twice, however. Sean Clifford was also sacked twice, but he was 6 of 9 for 19 yards. So, yeah, if you were to look at those quarterback performances, remove the names, who played the best, I think hands down I would give it to Taylor Eldersma because obviously he was efficient, but also moved the ball down the field, and protected the football. That's what it's all about, man. So anything you got to add to the quarterback play, and then we'll go back to the notes here.
Yeah, I just pulled up real quick. Milroe's grade on offense with a 32.8 as an early number. So we held his passing to 35.2 and his running to a 46.9 on a dual threat quarterback. Obviously, we knew his passing wasn't the strong suit, so not holding that against him. But I'm just glad about how well we played with a read option type of quarterback. That speed, everybody close to the ball. We were able to get him on the ground in the backfield, get some sacks. That really was huge for this defense. I wanted to see that after they kind of struggled against Fields early. So, all right, can we keep contained? Can we play upfield? Can we still get pressure? But know that you had that speed back there. In our offense, really, they played well. I'm not mad at our quarterbacks. Yeah, Malik didn't throw a pick, and I'm just glad that they both put out pretty decent tape. They were both kind of same way, 2 sacks, trying to get on the move. It's going to be a tough cut down there. I don't know what Matt's going to do back there.
Yeah. H.E. Solder, that Willis pick was still a bad throw. Completely agree. That was the back-to-back inaccurate throws I talked about. He had a horrible throw the first rep or the first play right before that, and then he throws that deep shot, overthrows the guy. It's still getting a -2 whether it should have been an interception or not on the field. There's no doubt about that. Completely agree with you there, man. Go ahead, man.
What Enger thinks on X. He said, on what platform are people watching live and asking questions? It's not X, not Rumble. It is a YouTube. I don't see any chat activity. Yeah, so the chat activity that's going crazy with you see the red plus there? That's the YouTube chat. You can chat here like on X, and we'll pull it up. That's not a problem. There's just not as much activity in the chat on X versus YouTube where you can get all that. Then go ahead and sub and subscribe while you're in there.
Yeah, what we always tell people, what Enger thinks. I'm curious to see what Enger thinks. You see what we always tell people is if you're watching on X, it's a way better experience to watch on YouTube. So if you just hop over and just search Packer Fan Total Access on YouTube, you can sub and all that. And yeah, it's you can kind of see the entire YouTube chat on there, and it's a pretty interactive community, man. These guys and gals are awesome in here, but we appreciate you being interested in tuning in on X, man. That's why we go live on X too. Some people prefer that, and you're welcome to stay there if you'd like. All right, so back to the notes. There was a 61-yard run, right, by Seattle, blown gap assignment. I couldn't tell who blew that gap. If anybody knows, let me know. But that was more, for me, it was more of a mental mistake than, boy, we're getting overpowered here. That was really one of the only plays where I felt like, dang, I mean, it was negative Malik Willis, positive, like, I don't know, something like 22 positive marks, the negative for the 61-yard run, and then we're right back in the positive. But Brenton Cox Jr. with a run stop, great edge set. Amelia, I don't know if I've seen an edge defender improve his run stopping ability more than Brenton Cox Jr. Over the last year and a half, he went from someone where I remember going, Jacob, I know you like him, dude, but he is so unreliable in the run game. He just plays out of control. This dude, he's not it. And he came back the next year and he fixed it. And he looked great at setting the edge today.
He did, and you saw him, the explosiveness he has, the strength he has. Did you see him, blow up the tackle, get his hands off of him, then re-engage the tackle, shed real quick, keep outside leverage, and you blow up the play. You blow up the stretch play. Great hustle by the corner there. I want to say it was 37. I forgot his name. And he ran that run down, and that's why you don't give up on the play. That's why you hustle. That kept them scoreless. Going into, that's a hustle play on defense. Yeah, maybe it was a blown coverage, but you still get a +2 there for digging all the way out. I'm pretty sure he was on the backside completely, run him all the way down and save a touchdown.
Yeah, and then we had the Kalen King run stuff, man. Did a great job. It was a design quarterback run. He did a great job filling the outside and making a stop on that play. Deslin Alexander, Emilio, that dude was everywhere today, both special teams. And he batted a pass down on 4th down, if you remember that play, just having the wherewithal of, okay, this is a quick set pass, get your hands up. Did a really good job with that. Isaiah Simmons had some good and some bad. He had a great tackle on a short pass. He actually, one of the only times this preseason I thought he looked aggressive. Overall, I think he just kind of had an average day. My opinion of him didn't change. I still feel like Christian Welch deserves a roster spot more than Isaiah Simmons. I'm not saying that's what the Packers are going to do. That's just my personal opinion on that. And then Brinson with the 4th down pressure, Cox forced the cutback, and then Hopper made the tackle. It was just Brinson immediately blowing the play up. Jalen Milroe scrambles right. Brenton Cox Jr. takes a perfect angle, plays it safe, cuts him off. He cuts back, and there's Tyron Hopper to get the stop. Tyron Hopper, man, he better be the third linebacker in this defense. He's shown me enough that he should be on the field in that base 4-3, man.
Absolutely. He is a dog, put on some weight, gotten better, understands the defense, can make calls, comes downhill. You saw him punch out the ball once, twice. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there. He's kind of on his toes when he's at the backer position, not afraid to really engage, get downhill quickly. And, yeah, I think – I'm almost to the point of, maybe we only carry 4 linebackers, free up a spot somewhere else, try to slide Welch and Simmons onto the practice squad, and then go from there. I feel, I'm comfortable with Quay, Cooper, McDuffie, and Hopper. We've just had questions everywhere else. Maybe we try to sneak those 2 onto the practice squad, carry another dude we wanted on, and then we'll address that when we come to it.
Yeah, and I can understand the case for both Simmons and Welch. I get it. I'm not like, I wouldn't be upset if they kept Simmons over Welch. To me, Simmons, it looks like he is so hesitant to attack the football. It's just, it kind of feels like Quay the last couple of years, which, by the way, Quay, I know it was minimal snaps, but it looks like that might be out of his system. If he continues to play the way he did today, man, we're off and running there. Welch finished with 4 tackles and had a tackle for a loss. Here's a perfect example. You look at the stat line, Isaiah Simmons, 7 tackles, right? 7 solo tackles. How many times did we see him chasing the play down the field? How many times did we see him kind of, 2 or 3 steps, set up, the running back or the ball carrier is still 4 yards away, and he allows the carrier to get to him, and then he makes the tackle. He obviously did not have any tackles for a loss there as well. H.E. Soder with the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. When they ran Brinson and Stackhouse together, the middle of the D was kind of ugly. Likely will not see the combo in the regular season. I feel like Stackhouse has kind of dwindled the last couple of weeks. I don't know how you feel, Emilio, but Brinson's stock is going through the roof. Mm-hmm. That dude is so quick off the snap. I was messaging and texting with DJ during the game, John's son, and man, he was like, Brinson looks quick. He is so quick off the snap, man. I think Brinson Brinson, I now understand why they took him before they took Stackhouse. Early on, I was kind of like, they don't make a – now I get it. Brinson looks like he could be a dog. He does, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's – now that we look back at it, Goody, tip of your hat, I mean, that's probably why you drafted him first, right? Obviously, it was nice to be able to bring Stackhouse in and add to it, but – you relied on your numbers, on your scouts, on everything else. That's why we picked Brinson, and he's kind of showed up. And Wooden showed out really well. But I think that combo with both of them on there, they're just a little too loose, a little too new, raw, whatever, for that defense to kind of hold down the middle. So you are going to need a veteran in there at some point. But I'm leaning towards Brinson at this point, and Stackhouse. Hopefully we can sneak him on. Because anybody that doesn't make the 53, Clay, another team has to take from our free picks or whatever. Whoever didn't make our roster, they have to take them and sign them to their active roster, or do they can only sign under the practice squad?
Yeah. So the way it works is everybody sets their 53. There's a 24-hour period, and then anyone you have 24 hours to sign those players to your active 53-man roster. That's the way that works. So you can't go poach someone off of someone else's practice squad, put them on your practice squad. You have to add them to your 53-man roster. And once the season starts, there's a certain amount of time they have to be on your 53-man roster as well. So that's
where it's like, I think you can sneak some of these guys. I think you can get away. It's like, is another team going to really come and put Stackhouse on their roster? Like maybe if they're desperate, but you might be able to sneak away one of these wide receivers. I mean, there are definitely other options out there.
It's one of those things where not only are we're sitting here just looking at it through the Packers' eyes, through Packer fans' eyes. Like, okay, will somebody pick up Stackhouse if you don't put him on 53? When other teams are, and Matt talked about this in the presser at the end of the game. There, teams along with the Packers are looking, going, okay. When the cuts happen and you got that 24-hour period, everybody combs through those cuts. And the first thing they do, Emilio, is they pull that draft board out and go, what kind of draft grade do we have on him? Okay, we actually there may be another defensive tackle that gets cut by another team and he has to clear waivers. And the Packers look at him and go, damn, we had a 7th-round grade on Stackhouse, even though he went undrafted. And this guy, we had a 5th-round grade on or a 6th-round grade on. They're going to prioritize him over Stackhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if Stackhouse had continued the momentum he had early on, I would feel much better about him making the 53. He still may make the 53. Don't get me wrong. He had a good camp. It's just I don't think he's nowhere near where Brinson is right now. And I understand there are some people that are saying, well, Stackhouse is a nose tackle. He's a nose tackle. He's a nose tackle. He is. How often do you need a nose tackle when you're in the nickel 4-2-5, 70% of the time? You know what I'm saying? You need him in your base 4-3. Don't get me wrong. But when you're in your base 4-3, Kenny is typically your nose. He was the one who played one tech last year. So think of your base 4-3. Your two defensive tackles are going to be Kenny in the 1 and Wyatt in the 3. In what scenario do you foresee you putting Stackhouse in the 1 and Kenny at the 3 and taking Wyatt off the field? You know what I'm saying? You just hit him with the 5th-year option. So you obviously see him as a true starter. So all those things together is what's got me leaning toward Stackhouse to the practice squad. And then you could call him up if you get a little banged up, or let's say you play the 49ers one week and they want to run a little bit more 21 or 22 personnel where you got to go a little heavier. Call him up in the practice squad. There's your nose tackle. And you can come with a jam front and approach it that way then. Right. So Gaylord with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, thanks, guys. I support on Patreon, but here's a little extra for helping me find the chatter. Hey, thank you so much for the extra support there, Gaylord. We appreciate you, buddy.
Absolutely appreciate that. But that's the other thing, Clay, is 53. We're cutting ours down to 53. That means we would have to cut it down to 51, 52, 51 if we want to sign somebody else that they had cut to get him onto our 53. We're already having a hard enough time getting it down to 53. Let alone creating an extra spot for somebody to bring in, that to sign on top of that.
Right. Holmes MD1 says, guys, I don't think Kenny will play the run like Slayton did. Stack can, in my opinion. Could not disagree more, Holmes. Kenny was our best run defending defensive tackle last year. Okay. So when you take that into consideration and say, okay, if Kenny has the highest run stop ratio of any of our defensive tackles, there's no way you're going to convince me that an undrafted free agent in Stackhouse is going to play the run better than Kenny. And that was also with Kenny playing with a bum foot all year long, right? Yep. And you guys know I did not approve of the Kenny Clark contract extension to the level in which they paid him. But I say that because I'm not the biggest Kenny Clark fan, but man, I can't put Stackhouse's run defense over Kenny Clark's when we've only seen him in 2 or 3 preseason games in one camp. Kenny was a dog against the run last year. They literally decided as a unit, as a team, as a defense that, hey, Kenny, we know your foot's banged up. You can't rush the quarterback. We're gonna isolate you. We're gonna designate you, I should say, as our one tech to occupy a double team and help stop the run. Don't worry about trying to get upfield. Hold the point of attack. Tackle the ball carrier. That's what he did last year. And again, you look at what we did as a run defense last year. We were, second in yards per carry allowed. So I respectfully disagree there, Holmes. Don't mean to, to try to run your opinion in the mud. Don't take it the wrong way. I'm simply saying Kenny Clark is stout
Right.
attack. You never. One thing you say about Kenny, you never see Kenny get blown off the ball, even with a double team. It just does not happen.
No. And coach asked this question earlier, then followed it up by saying, he still would rather have Wooden backing up Kenny over Stack, but do you think we can sneak Wooden onto the practice squad? I just don't. I think where we had him drafted, I think he's going to have kind of a high grade for someone. I think that they would have a need at DT for someone like Wooden, who's actually been through a couple of off seasons, gotten bigger, put weight on each year. I mean, the dude has grown. I think he's definitely gotten better.
And I'm not real big on Kobe Wooden, but I'm with you. I think a team will swoop in there and grab him. There's just too much tape out there.
Yeah, I feel like it could be like a Jaron Reed sort of thing from Seattle, like that kind of an idea. Maybe not a big name, but a guy that somebody would take a flyer on and bring onto the roster because he's young, he's put on weight, he's got some talent. That's kind of where I thought we'd be. Michael A. Smith, not to be confused with Stephen A. Smith. Our defense with 4 fumbles and 5 sacks, to me, shows we don't have to give up multiple draft picks and a player for any edge player from another team.
Who could you possibly be talking about, Mike? I'm still blown away by that, by the way. There are fans out there that would be willing to give up 2 first-round picks. Did y'all see that picture of him at the last preseason game where he was asleep on the trainer's table while the game was going on? Yeah, he was just over there, just kind of lounged out during the preseason game. It's like, I know you don't want to be a Cowboy. I get it, but what organization looks at that and goes, "We'll sell the farm for that"?
Yeah.
And by the way, you got to put up with the podcast and him making little subtle jabs at teammates. And listen, I'm not trying to make Jerry Jones out to be a great person or a great owner. Don't get me wrong, but Micah Parsons isn't squeaky clean in this whole situation either. And if the Packers traded for him, I told you guys I give up a first and a third for him. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I wouldn't be like over the moon begging them to do it, but I could see it being worth giving up a first-round pick and a third-round pick. $41 million, man. Ooh-wee, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And Gary, I'm telling you, dude, I think Gary's really going to have a good year this year. It's either going to be Gary or LVN. One of those two, Emilio, they're going to pop this year. I wouldn't be surprised if it's LVN over Gary, and they'll put Gary in a situation where he can continue to play the run and then have LVN in a spot schematically to where, okay, they like to run a lot of strong sets. Let's make sure Gary's on the strong side so LVN can eat in the pass on the backside, right? And if you got a team that runs a lot of weak side runs, maybe put Gary on the weak side strategically and have LVN on the strong side. That way, you're forcing them to play left-handed, or they're going to go in with their normal game plan and they're going to be running right into the teeth of the run defense, which is Rashawn Gary, essentially. Solder with the super chat. Interesting that Brooks was in for Clark off the bench today. Wooden feeling like the odd man out. Yeah. Again, man, I feel like I'm the only Packer fan that feels like this, but Wooden to me seems like the odd man out. Like when I mention that, people are like, "No, he's been playing great," and I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe he's a trade candidate too. Who knows, man? That's the other thing. We might get a trade or two before the deadline here as well. So
yeah,
just to keep an eye on. What do you think about it, Emilio?
I don't know. I think Wooden's kind of hammered in a spot for himself. I think he really has. I feel like it's kind of like the Sean Ryan of the defense, where he came out a little bit flat to begin with, was a little skinny, a little small. Okay, put in work the first year, second year. All right, getting a little bit. I've seen you making some progress in there. You're sticking your nose in there. Now he almost seems like he doesn't get. I mean, he gets pushed off the ball a little bit, but he's so much better at sticking his ground. Kind of stays a little bit wider, holds his base real well. I think that honestly, I think he came in second for Wyatt, right? Did Wyatt play? No. But I think Wooden's the second kind of right behind Wyatt if we're on rotations there.
which, by the way, I like how they approach that, right? Don't play Kenny, don't play Wyatt, and let these young defensive tackles kind of go at it today, right?
Which
That's
we
what
needed to see reps, and you got to see a lot of the guys farther down the roster getting those reps inside.
I love this. We're an hour into the show. You guys know what we talked about earlier, Elgers and McClifford, right? And thank you, Soda, for the super chat. Cheesehead Murph jumps in and just says, I was wrong about Elgers. McClifford's gone. So there you go. Another one that thinks Elgers is the guy for sure. So, man, I'm telling you, his flashes look good, Murph. They do, man. He's got a strong arm. He's a lot of fun to watch. Let's go back to the go ahead. I'm sorry, man. What you got?
Oh, you're good. I was going to say same here earlier, Garage Band and Grandmasters. He said, I just joined. Not sure where we are, but I hate saying this. The Canadian has to stay.
Yeah, so he's won everybody over, looks like, for sure. All right, back to the notes here. Anthony Belton, false start. I felt like both tackles had a false start, which made me think, was it Lasita Smith that was playing the center position at the time, I believe, when they get that false start?
Yeah.
When you get two tackles moving at the same time, the ball snapped late, it kind of makes you think probably was the center, even though the penalty's going to go on a tackle. Maybe I'm making excuses for Belton. I don't know. Was that the only penalty he had that you remember, Emilio? I can't remember.
Yes, yeah. Belton only had the one penalty from what I remember.
So that one seemed a little weird to me.
Was that one when Matt came over and talked to him after the fact
Yeah.
and was kind of, coaching him up and stuff?
Yep.
Okay. And I mean, hey, from 5 down to 1, I'll take that. That's improvement. Let's get that 1 down to none. But giving him a shot out there. You saw him at right tackle. He's got a really quick first step. Sometimes it's just engaging and closing on the depth of some of those DNs where maybe his pass protection needs a little work. But man, he can close down on a guy and wash down the side of an offensive line for sure.
Yeah. Let's see what Stacy Mitchell said something here about Micah. I don't want the drama that comes with Micah. Sorry, but football is a team sport. I think that's a real thing. I do. Now, the beautiful thing about the Packers is we got a strong locker room. When Micah Parsons walks into that locker room, I say it like they're going to trade for him. We know there's like a 3% chance this happens, right? Yep. But let's say they do trade for Micah Parsons. He walks in that locker room with that chest out. He's got to look across that locker room, and who does he see? He sees Big E, right? He sees Elton Jenkins. He sees Zach Tom, Mr. Fisticuffs himself. He sees Rashawn Gary, right, who's going to be playing – he'd be playing opposite of. He's going to see Kenny Clark, the quiet lion in there. He ain't going to come in there acting like a fool. It just ain't going to happen, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
you do that, you're going to have to
sit your butt outside.
That's exactly right. I was thinking more along these lines. You come in there thinking you're going to run the show in Green Bay when you've got these leaders that have played together, they've bled, they've sweated together for years.
You do that, you're going to get your ass kicked in that.
I'm telling you right now. And I know Mike's a freak and everything, but he's a little lot in the britches compared to some of them big boys in the locker room. You don't believe me? Go back and watch Aaron Jones smack him in the chest in that playoff game. And literally Micah Parsons double over from little bitty Aaron Jones just punching him right in the mouth.
Yeah.
So
why not?
Yeah, and I've had several Cowboy fans, have a conversation with them online, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan, and I'm hoping they trade Micah. He's too much trouble. It's not worth it. He doesn't. They said he takes plays off, that type of stuff. He's not a great run defender." That's Cowboy fans talking about. Now, they may be a little sour on the fact that he wants out of Dallas. I get that. I think he's a great player, and I could justify giving up a first and a third for him. The part that I continue to struggle with is that $41 million. Like, to have to pay him $41 million per, over $100 million guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, too. You've got other players in that locker room that are looking for their contract, and they've been a part of the team, and they've been doing everything they're supposed to do. Now, this guy – crybabies his way out of another city, comes in, you throw the bag at them. If you think for 1 second that the rest of that team, that there's not going to be a good portion of that team that goes, hey, that ain't right. He ain't done a damn thing for the Green Bay Packers, right? I've been out here busting my butt, fighting back to get back from injury, this, that, and the other thing. I think that's a real thing, Stacy. So
Stacy followed it up saying that Micah will get this strap in Green Bay.
There you go.
I'm telling you.
I love that left cheek on Matt LaFleur. It looks like there's a tear rolling down. Like this is gonna hurt me more than it hurts you.
Absolutely. And just don't forget, Whiskey 61, even though he's on the IR, Glover will still be in that locker room. He as well can swing the strap.
All right, back to the notes. McManus, what else is there to say, man? That dude's just awesome. That 52-yarder he hit, he knocked the absolute crap out of that ball, dude. He just looks like he's so zeroed in. Oh, man, I'm so glad he's the Packers kicker. Oladapo, I had a missed tackle on him. How do you feel like he played today? Because that's the only thing I had in the notes was that one missed tackle from Oladapo. It was a throw underneath. He had a chance to stop it for like a 1 or 2 yard gain, and he kind of whiffed on the tackle.
Yeah.
He went outside, and the guy just cut back in. I don't know. It might have been one of those things they wanted him to play that outside in.
Yeah.
But how did you feel about Oladapo? Did you get a good look or no?
That one missed tackle is tough, right? But I do love the approach of going outside in, forcing him back to where your help is. Yeah, you didn't make the tackle. I would have loved, you stop it. That's where you hop up, you get hype, and you're selling. But besides that, I like that he is the go-to if X isn't there, obviously without Zane. But you had Evan and Oladapo out there with Bullard in the slot. That's not a bad secondary if an injury ever occurs in season. I'm not mad at him because he's super smart. I mean, even with that missed tackle, where was he? Right there on the guy ready to make the play. He knows where to be. He's not crazy out of position. Even that, the other game when you were kind of hard on him, right? Where he got that ball thrown over his shoulder, right, Clay? Hey,
Yep.
man, just at least he's there. He was punching. Yeah, got caught, but I mean, it feels like he's always in the right spot. Him and Kalen King. I think Kalen King definitely had a better game than Oladapo, but they both are, 2 years in at this point, knowing what's going on, knowing where to be, knowing how to play the defense, and I think that's going to be beneficial in season.
Yeah. Deslin Alexander, we talked about earlier, he had a batted pass on fourth down. Come back later in the game, he actually sacks Milroe on a third down scramble. So there you got two crucial plays. Like if we were doing Chalk Talk, in a normal version of Chalk Talk, we'll break down the most important plays. He would be on two different plays. That's significant. That's a fourth down, batting the ball down. That ends the drive, and a third down scramble, making the tackle that gets the stop. He had a really, really good game. If it's something that the Packers try to pass him in the practice squad, there's a little bit of tape out there on him, something not swoop in and grab him there a little lot at edge defender for sure. Malik Heath, very next note. After that, I think it's the next time we score and then we kick off. On kickoff coverage, Malik Heath comes in, lays the boom on a kick returner, and Deslin Alexander comes in and finishes it up. Two plays right there, back to back, essentially on my notes for Deslin Alexander. Again, if you're going to make an extra edge defender worthy of making a 3-man roster, you got to have special teams involved. He was.
Yeah, Clay, I wasn't sure if it was just me hearing it, but Jen said your audio is a little weird. It's kind of doing that thing where it gets like it's cloud, sounds a little cloudy.
Got it. My bad.
No, you're good. There you go. You're back. We might just need to upgrade the mic here shortly. I think it's been yeah. She's gotten a lot of burn, that's for sure. She's gotten some run, but yeah. Oh boy, there it is. There's it all's rolling in now in the chat. So yeah. No, I know what you mean, man. Malik Heath did. He came down there, made that play on special team. He is not afraid to stick his nose in there as a wide receiver. And that's where you kind of get that Bo mentality where he can play it both ways. But yeah, I do think that the way he's been playing, man, Malik gets a shot, and yeah, Deslin Alexander getting down there. Just love the effort.
This $50 snowball, man, I'm gonna get a refund on it.
Yeah, you're good now. Sometimes it just goes cloudy where it just sounds like you're like underwater almost, and then it comes back.
What it is, it's every time I look away to my notes is what it is. That's completely honest. User error, although we will blame the snowball.
Oh, for sure.
So Aaron Mosby chasing down a backside tackle, really good play there. Kamal Hadden, third down pass breakup. Kamal Hadden, that was a good little rebound play. I don't think he's done enough to make the roster, don't get me wrong. Kalen King, on the other hand, talking with the gags. Unbelievable. What's this? Got more mileage than mom's rap. All right. It is back now, though, right? We're good?
Yeah. No, we're good.
All right. Good deal. Wrapping up here, Isaiah Simmons, horrible run fit on a quarterback run. Again, man, I just have more negative than anything for sure. Mm-hmm. Touchdown pass allowed. Ballantyne was underneath. Kamal Hadden over the top. And they just, it was like Ballantyne didn't get deep enough. Hadden, I don't know what you're waiting on, Bub. You're standing in the end zone like they've got to go through the back of the end zone before they get 6 points. So Hadden's still looking kind of rough to me. And then Aaron Mosby with the fumble recovery there at the end, albeit it was a botched snap. So those are my notes. Again, I didn't expect anybody to come out from the back of the pack here and just run away with a roster spot. But I do feel like some people kind of solidified the way we felt about them going into this game. H.E. Soda with the super chat. Kudos to the Seattle for force feeding Milroe for 4 quarters. You know, it was an interesting thing that when was the last time you seen a team play a quarterback for the entire 4 quarters? I mean, in the preseason like that. I don't think I've ever seen that, man.
No, not too often. You're trying to get reps going around, but that's. I mean, when you bring in 2 guys that you know are going to be, one's definitely going to be a backup, and then one is going to be your starter. Why not get the rookie that is the guy that can run like crazy but needs help in the passing game? Why not give him as many reps as possible? You get to see just a little bit of everything, put him in a bunch of different situations, because you're not going to be doing that too often in season. I can see him getting some some gadget plays where he's maybe at quarterback, couple power reads or, read option, something like that on a 3rd and short. But besides that, he's not going to get too many passing plays. I wouldn't think, let's coach him up, learn from this tape and go from there during the season.
Got it. Jen Wright said number 48, Johnson. I think she's talking about Dumas Johnson.
Yeah.
Looked like he was everywhere. I didn't have him in the notes at all, but I do remember hearing Kevin Harlan call his name out a few times.
Yeah.
Do you feel like he did enough to make the practice squad, Amelia?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. He broke on that one ball, almost had that pick, kind of got into his chest a little bit too much. And, Ron Sandville here, Johnson was wearing the dot with the 3s. I did see that. So he was making calls. He was making calls when the 3s were out there. I think it's a good shot for a guy to make the practice squad, having a backup. And that's where it's like, okay, we have 4 backers we're solid on. What are we doing with Simmons and Welch? And then from there, we do have a little bit of backup. I'm glad we have a little backlog there at backer. You may need to bring one of these guys up here to fill some special teams role throughout the year.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so that's pretty much all we got in the notes. I want to mention this since we were talking backer. Rob Domofsky tweeted out a quote from Matt LaFleur, more from LaFleur on Tyron Hopper. He said, I would say he's one of our most improved players from a year ago. I think he's done an outstanding job.
Yeah.
So I know we, as a fan base, we like to dog on PFF from time to time. You guys know my main gripe is give us a timestamp. Let us know what plays you're grading what. They won't do it. Not that they even know who I am as a human being. But this is another one of those examples, though. They've graded Tyron Hopper extremely high, and Matt LaFleur is pretty much signing off on it, going, this dude has been one of the most improved players. God, I want him to be that 3rd linebacker so bad, man. And LaFleur also said if Jordan Love's thumb is able to take some snaps, they would practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this coming week. So might get a little inside glimpse on how well Jordan Love may or may not be healing there in terms of his thumb as early as Tuesday for practice. Now, listen, if he can't practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week, I'm not freaking out. I expect it to be the following week before he can get back to practice. Just having stitches taken out, obviously, today. So, Stacy Mitchell asks, is the final 53-man roster cuts this Tuesday? That is correct. Tuesday, 8/26. That's August 26th. I think they said 4 p.m. Eastern time. Everything has to be wrapped up. Now, you guys know early that day, typically, a lot of stuff starts leaking out. And what happens is agents, as soon as the player is as soon as they're notified, hey, we're going to let you go, right? When that happens, typically the agents will leak it out to an insider that, hey, the Packers have informed so-and-so he's going to be let go, and they're interested in bringing him back on the practice squad. That's so they can get those names out there as quick as possible, right? The agents want to get the names out there so other teams know, oh, we liked him in the draft. Let's get him signed
right.
Off waivers. So let's do a rapid fire here on the rest of the box score here, Emilio. So running backs, right? Running game. We'll just stick with the Packers side. Emanuel Wilson, 8 carries, 38 yards, that long and 9. Amar Johnson, 8 carries for 26 yards. Malik Willis, 2 carries for 19 yards. He looked really good scrambling, by the way. There was a couple of times he made some crucial – both those runs I felt like were in a crucial situation for sure. Chris Brooks, 4 carries for 15 yards, just under 4 yards a pop. McCole Hardman had that one end around or jet sweep for 14 yards. Tyrion Davis-Price, 5 carries, 14 yards. Izzy, 6 carries, 9 yards. I don't think he makes it. I think it's Amar Johnson on the practice squad. Izzy might make the practice squad. He has 0 shot of making 50 yards. So.
Yeah, and with that fumble there from Izzy, that's kind of tough on him. You lose that there, but I'm just super happy with the backs that we have. I mean, Josh Jacobs, just looking at the numbers, early grade of a 69.8 from his 1 5-yard run. But dude, did you see how strong he ran there? I mean, it was his legs just churn. It's like a machine when he gets the ball. I'm not worried really about our running game.
Yeah, I see everybody saying the mock is doing it again. I'm looking at the test.
It's back now. It's once in a while. It's kind of when you turn away sort of thing. Let's just.
Okay. I'm gonna have to get a Hans device like NASCAR so it keeps my head.
You know
I mean, just stationary here. We'll
just upgrade the mic. We'll get Mandy on there.
Everybody's now they're saying it sounds like I'm in a submarine. Love it. All right, so I'm gonna hold the mic up here like the old school here. Look at this. You kidding me?
Oh, there we go.
How do we sound now? What do you
now
think?
we sound crispy. Yeah.
Now we sound like a real redneck. All right, receiving Matthew Golden, 1 catch for 39 yards on 2 targets. Izzy Abanaconda, 2 catches for 13 yards, caught both targets. I mean, that's a positive. Julian Hicks, 3 catches for 12 yards. Malik Heath and Amar Johnson both had 1 catch for 10 yards. Not a whole lot to talk about there. You have Will Shepard with the touchdown catch. So Will Shepard was targeted how many times? 2 times, had that 1 catch. Of course, it was a 3-yard touchdown catch. Fumbles, Izzy fumbling. Definitely didn't help his chances. I know he recovered it, but look at the fumble recoveries too. Ball King working, Emilio, right?
Absolutely.
You got Aaron Mosby fumble recovery, Kingsley Nibari fumble recovery, Corey Ballantyne fumble recovery, and Kalen King with 1 as well. You love to see that. In terms of tackles, we talked about Isaiah Simmons with 7 tackles. Jamin Johnson with 5 tackles, 4 solo, and a tackle for a loss. Christian Welch, 4 tackles, 3 solo, 1 for a loss. Jonathan Baldwin with 4 tackles. Tyron Hopper, 3 tackles, 1 for a loss. Deslin Alexander had a tackle for a loss as well. Look at Brenton Cox Jr., 2 tackles for a loss, Emilio. And he had a sack, right? So, in terms of the sacks, you had Tyron Hopper, Deslin Alexander, Brenton Cox Jr., and Quay Walker all with sacks.
I think there's one more. Scroll down.
We had Devontae O'Malley, the newcomer.
O'Malley out there getting his name on the board. I love that.
There you go. All right, so there are your sacks. Obviously, no interceptions. We threw 1 interception. That Malik Wilson.
But being +4 in the turnover differential is
that right? So we lost the interception, right? Lost the interception, and we recovered 4. So we were +3, right? Am I thinking right? Because Izzy's was one we fumbled and
right.
recovered.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Sorry.
So +3. That'll win you the ball game about 96% of the time, probably, right? So there you go. And then in terms of returns, McCole Hardman 1 for 10 yards. These are punt returns. Will Shepard 2 punt returns. I didn't realize that. So maybe they're trying to see if there's some added value there. And then of course no kick returns for us. Brandon McManus 2 for 2 on field goals with a long of 52, hit both extra points as well. Daniel Whelan. What else is there you can say, man? 67 yards on the long, 6 punts, 345 yards of punt yard.
A freak. Look at the difference. The Seahawks had a guy, Michael Dickinson, 6 punts, 284 yards. We have Daniel Whelan, 6 punts, 345, almost 350 yards. I mean, you're talking 16. I mean, over 55, 60 yards more. I mean, that's a whole nother possession with just his leg.
Yep. Dave in the chat says Clayton went from Sebastian from Little Mermaid to the Beverly Hillbillies with that mic split. That's a pretty accurate assessment of the situation, I believe. So, all right, I think that's it. Emilio, you got anything else, man? I think we covered everything. The chat, you guys have been awesome. Thank y'all so much. And again, if you guys would hit like, hit subscribe, really appreciate y'all taking the time to make us part of your post-game festivities here.
Absolutely. If you enjoyed, please go ahead and check us out on patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. If you like the show, if not, go ahead and hit next and keep on moving, but hit like on your way out. But yeah, if you're trying to get into some of the, some talk, kind of like how we have in the chat here, live chat, we got everybody in chats there. We're going to go over chalk talks, film breakdowns. Clayton puts up an article basically daily over there just to kind of break it down, cut through. And yeah, you can also get questions for the show. So instead of, just super chats, you can also get that in there too. So appreciate everybody joining.
Definitely. Another added perk too, anyone who's a member of the Patreon group, at least the $3 tier, we do giveaways. Tomorrow evening on the evening show, we're going to be doing an LVN rookie card autographed, right? We're going to be giving that away. So the way it works, anybody who's a member of the $3 tier on Patreon, we put your name on the wheel, spin that sucker. If it lands on your name, you're going to get an autographed Lucas Van Ness rookie card that was donated by our awesome listener, Rick Kruger, earlier this year. So Elder Grimm in the chat, Hitlock or Joe Barry will be our next head coach next year. So make sure everybody hits that like, please. I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat here. Chris the Casual, Ian, Clint the Armchair Quarterback, Badger Trio, Godsmack, Solder several times. Appreciate you, H.E. Solder. Gaylord with the super chat as well. Thank y'all so much for the extra support there. And listen, it's very kind for people to do super chats and be a member of the Patreon group and all the stuff, the ways that we got that you can support us here at PTA. But I want to make sure we're crystal clear. If you haven't donated a dime, we appreciate you too. Just you taking the time to hit like and be subscribed to the channel and contributing to the chat. It's why we call it Packer Fan Total Access. It's just a place for all the fans to come, get their opinions heard, and us try to dissect this thing and see exactly what's going on with the Packers on the table. So Mike is gone again. I'm getting out.
Yeah, appreciate all the super chats because Clayton's going to go on here and order his next Temu mic right after we get off here because that thing, I think Mandy dumped it in a bucket of water before you got on today.
Unbelievable. What happened to this thing?
No, it's in and out, man. I think the wire's going or something. Lincoln got chewing on it, or maybe he got hungry. And
I'm going to go get a mic. The one thing I can't stand, though, is those people that's got the mic right here. You know what I mean? The whole show, it's just their face is covered like Wilson. You know what I mean? I can't stand it.
Yeah, it's like I don't want – I mean, I'm over here trying to talk into this, but I don't, you can't even see it.
Elder Grimm, a Mike Parsons? All right, that's enough. King Clay. Man, I'm going to change my Twitter handle to 10 King.
That would actually be hilarious.
Sounds like a banjo player in a gospel band or something.
Seriously.
Let's go.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to hear the updates from Jacob and Tim too, man, being there in person. Nice day, beautiful game. Excited to see it.
Yeah, if Jacob makes it back home without going to the clink, it's going to be a successful night. That's all I can say. So.
We'll take that.
All right. And Gaylord says, nice to make a live show. It's almost time. Let's go, Pack. Yes, amen to that. So thank you, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. I set a goal tonight. Did we hit our goal?
7 out of 10, 70%. That's passing, though. I'll take that. C's get degrees, man.
That is passing. All right. We'll do some sort of morning show tomorrow. We'll jump in here and have a little bit of a morning show. It'll probably be somewhere around 10 or 11 o'clock Eastern time, I would imagine. So, Again, everybody would hit that like button on the way out. If this is your first time tuning in to the PTA postgame show, we really appreciate you making us a part of your evening. Hit subscribe, hit like, click that bell icon so you know when we go live. Everybody have a wonderful evening. As always, if you can hear me right now, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world and go Pack.
Here we go.
We're out. Bye, guys.